except when government subsidizes it, that you can get it below that price. Then the second economic limitation is that the cost of procurement is high, and then the cost of maintenance is also high. Then the cost of hiring also is relatively high, because some farmers might not be able to afford that, so they will be limited to the use of cutlass and hoe, which will result in peasant farming. Then the fifth economic limitation is that machines are not readily available due to the fact that they are not being produced in the country. Because just as we know that Nigeria is a developing country, and most of the things that we make use of are being imported, and that actually makes the machines not to be readily available. Then we'll now be looking at the technical limitation. Like what I've explained, most machines are imported. Then the replacement parts are not readily available. Then another limitation is that inadequate trained personnel to repair the farm machineries is another limitation. Then expert technicians of these machines are not readily available. Then the expert operators of these machines also are not readily available. Then the mode of operation of these machines are not known, since the machines are not being produced in the country. That is, most machines are being imported into the country. Now, most machines are not fully adapted to our local needs or environment, since they are being imported, and where they are being produced, they actually design it for the environment over there. They are not designed for the environment, our own immediate local environment. Then the last technical limitation is that there are few technical schools meant for training machine operators, and the personnel to repair them. We don't have specialized schools for training operators and then technicians that will repair them. Then the third limitation is the small farm holding. Just as we know, that land tenure system that encourages fragmentation of land limits mechanization. Because when land is being fragmented, if the land tenure system is the type that actually shares land among the family members, and the land becomes very, very small, it won't be economically feasible for you to say that, oh, I want to go and hire a tractor, and it will be built per day. You don't say if you are going to use it for 10 minutes, because a tractor, if you say you are having a plot of land, within 30 minutes the tractor is through and it will go. So that discouraged with that, and once we are told that, okay, well, for you to hire a tractor, you have to bring 10,000 naira. And here is your plot of land, and the person that has 20 hectares, the person having 20 hectares will hire the tractor for 10,000 naira, and you have to hire the tractor for 10,000 naira. With that, the person having a plot whom they encourage to hire a tractor, he said, I'll prefer using cutlass, my cutlass and my hoe, thereby limiting the use of agricultural mechanization. Then the second limit is that fragmentation of land discourages mechanization, while the third one is that peasant farming also limits mechanization, because it is crude tools like cutlass, hoes, and axes that are being used. Then, what are the possible ways of improving agricultural mechanization? Well, the first one is that government should provide loans with little or no interest to enable farmers to procure farm machineries. Also, the government are to subsidize the prices of these machines. And then the land tenure system should be reviewed to enable farmers to have access to large hectares of land. Then another possible ways of improving agricultural mechanization is that simple and less expensive machines should be developed locally. That is, machines that are specially designed for our immediate environment should be developed. Then the next one is that farmers, operators and technicians should be properly trained on how to handle and maintain these machines. Then the next possible way of improving agricultural mechanization is that farmers should form cooperative societies so as to enable them to pool their resources together to buy and maintain farm machines. Then the last one is that establishment of agricultural engineering colleges and institutions by government and non-government governmental institutions where should be established where personnel will be properly trained and where simple machines can be fabricated. Our next subtopic is sources of farm power. The sources of farm power include human, that is human being, then animal, wind, water, solar, mechanical, and electrical power. Those are the sources of farm power. That is the power that is being used on the farm or agricultural related industries. Then the first one we'll be looking at is the human power. This involves the use of human energy to perform work. It is the most common source of power on the farm because most of farm operations require human judgment or control. That is, even so, if you are to employ, there's no level of mechanization that won't involve human power. Even so, if it is an unmanned tractor that you are sending your tractor to the field, it's somebody that will be controlling that tractor from the base, that is from the farmstead, which can be very, very far from the farm. So human power is highly essential even when work is being made less tedious, that is, we make use of machines. It is employed in the transportation of farm inputs and outputs. That is, human power is employed in the transportation of farm inputs and outputs. Human power also is employed in the handling of tools, operation of farm machineries, land preparation, planting, harvesting, and so on. And then what are the advantages of human power? It is relatively cheap. That is, you can always get it. And then man is endowed with intelligence, hence it controls all farm operation and utilizes other sources of power and machinery on the farm. Then the third one is that there are specific operations that require high precision, which employ human power, such as harvesting. Now, if you are to check if a crop is fully matured or ripe, it actually requires human judgment. And then the fourth advantage of human power is that labor-saving devices such as implements and machinery can be handled by man. That is, receiving use of, let's say that we have the most precise machine to still be handled by man, to still be controlled by man. Now, what are the disadvantages? It is unreliable because man is subject to ill health and death. That is, if man dies, well, the work will stop. If the man is not feeling fine, that is, there is experiencing ill health, you won't be able to go to the farm to work. Then the second disadvantage is that work output is inconsistent and tends to decrease over time. An adult has a work output of about 75 watts in the morning, but this decreases to 20 watts or below if he works continuously without a break. That is, we get tired as we work. Our efficiency decreases with time. The efficiency of human being decreases with time. That is, law of diminishing returns applies to man. Then the third, and that makes man inconsistent. That is, makes human power more unreliable and inconsistent. Then the third disadvantage is that there is no timeliness of operation. That is, just like now, if we are to harvest a plot of land, that is, we plant rice over maybe 50 hectares or 100 hectares, and we are to harvest because we know that there's infection, and the infection just bursts out at one head of the farm, and it's spreading at an high rate. If that rice farm is to be harvested manually using human power, I'm very sorry to say that the farmer will go at loss, because before they would, I said there's inconsistent, man gets tired with time, and might get weak along while carrying out the operation. If they are to carry out the harvesting, they might not be able to finish in a week, and there will have been a lot of loss being incurred in the process. But if we are to employ a combined harvester, the harvester can finish the whole 20 hectares in a day, and that will curb the loss, that will reduce and minimize the loss that will be incurred by the farmer. And then the first one is that it cannot perform tedious farm operation. That is, there are some farm operation that human power cannot be used for, that are very tedious. Then it cannot cover a large acreage of land. Just like now, if you are the only person and you are having 10 hectares of land and you say you want to cultivate it, in no time you get tired and you'll be able to cover the large acreage of land that you are having. Then it is less efficient. The next source of power we're looking at is the animal power. And this is the type of power derived from the use of draught or work animals, such as bullock, donkey, buffalo, camel, and horses, for certain farm operations such as transportation of farm inputs and outputs, pushing and pulling of farm implements, and carts. The draught animals such as oxen, bullock are yoked. That is, if you want to use them to plow, they are being yoked, and then the yoke is then attached to any farm implement such as the mobile plow or the plow. The yoked animal then drags the implement while man controls the direction of implement for the team.